Kathy Hull, the other co-founder, and I had this shared dream of having a place where children who were very, very sick, who were likely not to survive childhood, and their families could come to be where they had the support that they needed without the trappings and the restrictions of a hospital setting. So we wanted to provide top-notch medical care in a situation where the family could be together as a family and feel that they were in a home-like setting.
My philosophy is that I'm going to take care of every child that I'm assigned to as if they were my own child. It's the only way to do this. This family trusts me to take care of their child. Without trust, you don't have anything. And it takes time to build up that trust. Parents have to know that they can trust you, that you're going to be the eyes and the ears for their child who can't speak.
Isabel's one of those nurses who can just sense what you're going through. I was just totally comfortable with her during our journey, always being there, whether she called or not. She's just always there, just shows up, takes over. That's what we wanted in a nurse. If we needed to be away, just always knowing that we had Isabel there to take over and who knew Jeffrey inside and out. So we're truly grateful for her in every way.
In our consciousness, in our country, dealing with the fact that children die is almost incomprehensible to us.
Nobody wants to hear about it, think about it, but it does happen. And what I like here with our end-of-life children is that the families have made that decision, that very difficult decision, to allow a natural death. And we do walk that journey with them. They allow us to. And that's really quite a privilege.
You know, when a child is in the hospital and you know that child is never going to get well, it's really not the best place for that child to be. Families really treasure, they know that their time with their child is going to be limited, and they really treasure all of their time that they can have with their child. And essentially, time spent in a hospital is wasted time.
I'm not looking for a cure. I know that's not going to happen. I just need somebody there to be helping me and answering questions and just a support. So I did one of the hardest things, and I made the phone call to the George Mark house.
Our first visit to George Mark, it was a rainy day.
Driving up there, I can't tell you the pit in your stomach as you enter this place that you really don't want to have anything to do with. But walking in those doors and seeing this beautiful home.
They told me that the minute you step foot in this house, you already become a family member. And you will always be a part of the George Mark family.
It's just so alive. Yeah, full of life, not full of death, like people might think.
Okay. Do I get that? Yes, you like music? Shall we dance?
Our charming Jesus, you know, when he's here, it's like the house is alive.
Daddy!
Look.
No.
Burger.
You know, he some of his words you can understand are really very clear.
Well, should we put it up here on the chair? Yes? Okay.
And then he just does a lot of, oh, whatever, you know, and you don't, but you just, okay, have a conversation with him and you just go on. But he's moving around a lot more on his own. He can scoot around. He's not able to walk because of his limbs. but he scoots around quite a bit. He eats regular food. He drinks from a cup and a straw. He's really quite delightful. He sort of grabs your heart.
Our motto here is whatever works. So we don't try to look at what we can't do. We try to look at what we can do.
Water in and of itself is a profound and powerful teacher. Earth is the water planet. We respect water as a source of life. And I think that's why the children respond so well. They come from water. They floated in water for 9 months. And the power of water, when we do a session with a child who's end of life, holding them in the water, it's as if we're midwifing them into a new life.
Growing up with Mitchell was, again, a little different and a little special, I guess I could say, because him and I were twins. We would always play jokes on people. We'd always switch around and go to different classes, or switch classes, and the teachers and kids wouldn't know, so we just play along with it as long as we could.
What I just hadn't been able to do yet was put the plaques up. So this is one of the plaques, and it says, Mitchell taught us all how to live life having a heart filled with love, compassion, and courage. Mitchell is eternally young and will be missed forever. He spent countless days having fun on this field, and these bleachers are dedicated in Mitchell's honor. The other one, I asked Adam, and I said, well, Adam, how about if we did a set of bleachers, as a living tribute? And he was really psyched about that, so we did this one. So this is also a picture from Tuscany with the big sunflowers up there. It took me a while. It took me a while to actually get the plaques done. I don't know, it's just kind of a closure thing, and whether or not I felt comfortable and ready to do that. So that was the deal there.
He was one of those kind of guys where he always knew how, and he always felt the other person, and he always knew all the right words to say to them.
Well, when I first found out about the diagnosis, it was pure shock.
All you hear is like blankness, and you hear this echoing, and I just couldn't understand how this cancer would lodge itself in his spinal cord and leave him as a quadriplegic.
20 to 50 people that would come to see him every day. It was amazing, and it was kind of hard to understand, just being 15 years old, like how all this could be so life-changing.
From there on, everything just sort of happened like a roller coaster. Details for me are a little bit blurry because I was sedated a lot.
Jeffrey was very fragile, and he could come in and be fine, and then the next 2 days get sick and have to go back to the hospital.
He was all about peace for us. Jeffrey was just so patient, fun, laughed a lot. His personality was very similar to his dad's, very happy. You just wanted to hold him and love him. So unbelievable. Hey, Jeffrey. There you go. So Mom loves you, and I'll be thinking about you. Miss you already. Thinking about you always and forever. Be seeing you again one day.
Rhonda came in and she woke us up and she said, Mitchell's gone. And it was kind of a relief that his suffering was over, because we could see that his mind was just racing and he was just trapped in his body. And it was a miserable existence at that point. But it was like he knew that Adam and I had finally agreed that, okay, Mitchell, you can go. And that's all he needed. He just needed that permission from us. He was sticking around for us because he knew that Adam and I, we hadn't given up hope. We had held on for all that time. So that was the last day. He had a little sign outside of his door that we'd write little notes to tell people what was going on. Don't come in yet, we're changing, or this, or that. And I remember I wrote on the board, and instead of writing it in the the dry erase pen, I wrote it in a Sharpie. And I said something like, Mitchell's resting now, or something like that. Because, that was it.
I love the proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. When you see a child surrounded by their families, the friends who come to visit the child amaze me. They're part of the village. When the grandmas and the grandpas come, when it's an end-of-life child, and people can fly in sometimes from other countries to be with that child. Sometimes the nurses come from Stanford or UCSF or wherever wherever the child has been a patient. Sometimes their home care attendants come and spend hours with the child on their own time. Sometimes school teachers come and spend time, and I'm on my way home, I just came by to visit. They're all part of the village that have participated in raising the child. And if it's a child who's end of life, they're part of the village who come to help that child